Hello, my name is Kylie Brown, and I have prepared a mini-teach for you on disabilities in school. I have 2 case studies on disabilities in school, which show successful inclusive education practices in mainstream schools. Case Study 1, Peer-Mediated Interventions for Students with Autism. A study by Carter et al. In 2019 examined the effects of peer-mediated interventions in inclusive classrooms. Results showed increased social interactions and academic engagement among students with autism when peers were trained to initiate and sustain interactions. The study found that peer-mediated interventions in classrooms help students with autism demonstrate greater social interactions and academic engagement. A key insight is that structured peer supports foster meaningful inclusion. Case Study 2, Universal Design for Learning, also known as UDL. In diverse classrooms, research conducted by CAS in 2013 in Canadian middle schools explored how UDL principles help teachers adapt instruction for students with various learning disabilities. Teachers reported greater student participation and improved outcomes across ability levels. By applying UDL principles, teachers were able to tailor their instruction to meet the needs of students with diverse learning disabilities, subsequently observing increased student engagement and enhanced performance for all students. The key insight here is that UDL promotes equity by offering multiple means of representation, expression, and engagement. Historical overview of disability in schools. From exclusion to inclusion, the evolving landscape. Pre-20th century, children with disabilities were often excluded from formal education and institutionalized. 1950s and 1960s, advocacy for civil rights laid groundwork for disability rights. Parental organizations pushed for equal access to education. 1975, education for all handicapped children mandated free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. 1990, Individuals with Disability Education Act strengthened inclusion in individualized education programs. Media and culture shifts. Increasing visibility of disability in media and popular culture challenged stigma and promoted empathy. Economic impact. Studies show how inclusive education contributes long-term economic participation and independence. Stereotypes about disability in schools. Historical stereotypes and their inaccuracy. Undeductible or mentally deficient. Students with disabilities are labeled as incapable of learning and often institutionalized rather than taught. Disruptive or dangerous. Behavioral stereotypes led to exclusion from mainstream classrooms. This is unfair. Burden on teachers and peers. Belief that disabled students slow down learning from others. This is an inaccurate fact. Inspirational only in adversity. Media often portrays disabled students as inspirational for merely existing or overcoming challenges. This is unfair fact as well, as it reduces individuals to one-dimensional tropes, ignoring their agency, interests, and full identity. Working with students with disabilities. What educators should know and do. First is understand disability and social identity. Second is build relationships with students and families. Engage in authentic dialogue that values family knowledge, especially across cultures. Another is recognize intersectionality. Consider how race, language, socioeconomic status, and disability intersect students' experiences. Challenge deflect thinking. Reframe assumptions about ability and learning by focusing on strengths and potential. And last, collaborate across roles. Culturally competent inclusions require teamwork among general educators, special educators, and support staff.